Have you ever thought about this before? But if you think about when I play with amateur golfers a lot, I tend to see this sort of thing. They'll have the practice swing sometimes looking at the flag totally, which is obviously really bad form because you don't hit the ball like that. Or sometimes they'll have a practice swing which has no bearing whatsoever in terms of a length of shot they're about to play. And I think, honestly, if we look at 100 golfers playing the course today, how many would have a really focused, deliberate, intentional practice swing? 1 or 2? Yeah, it's like
it's a rehearsal swing, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, exactly. So it's imagine like you've got your ball there, but these are like sort of ghost balls, right? And if you look at, I think Scheffler's really good. If you look at Scheffler, he has his practice swing. And you'll have seen all the players on tour do this. That's the ball he's hitting. This is a ghost ball in his mind. He's playing the shot, and he's following it as if he's actually hit the shot. And you'll see them do this, don't you? They hold their gaze, and they're really looking at a landing spot and seeing it go to the hole. So they're seeing the flight, the exact flight, where it's landing, how the ball's reacting, and how it's running out on the break, and probably seeing it going into the hole. And it gets you into this lovely external mindset. Everything we've done today, by the way, has been internal, hasn't it? It's been like, I'm telling you what to do. Because you've got to do that, you've got to layer it, haven't you? You've got to layer. You've got to get the internal sort of function to get right. And then from there, you layer it. And to get mastery in any skill, particularly short game, I can promise you these guys aren't thinking about left side pivots and club face, and really, they're not thinking of any of that stuff, right? But they've put the reps in.
We've done that, yeah.
You've got to put the reps in now. You've got to earn the right to not think about it by putting the reps in. But when you're playing, even at your point now, when you're playing, you want to get more externally focused, okay? And once you get into this zone, you stop worrying about what people might be thinking, what people might be watching you, the situation of the match, your handicap, all these things. These are all the voices that we get. I mean, I get them. Do you get them? Yeah? So what you got, the more I get into my bubble about what I need to do, where I'm landing it, the visualization, Tiger Woods calls it painting the picture. The more you can, Nicholas used to talk about it a lot as well, the more you can paint the picture of the shot, I think it is immensely powerful. And you've got to get good.
I guess, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And your last look has to be your landing spot as well. So you're doing your practice swing. You might have 1, you might have 2, whatever. We're looking at it. You get over the ball. You look at your landing spot, look at the hole, but your last look is at that spot. And I would hold that for a little bit longer, and then the image almost like gets sucked up and sits at the front of your brain. And the reason we're so good at throwing balls, we're all good at this, aren't we? If we were throwing a ball, we look at where it just happens. We don't think about it. And normally we're very, very good at that. We tend to throw it exactly where you want it to. You can't do that in golf because you've got to look at the ball, obviously. But the more you can have that in your mind, I think it really helps your mind and feel the distance. So the golfers that I see are sort of down, what I call ball bound, like this, and they're down here for ages. You've got so much out of what you're trying to do, and you're so much there. I just think it's hopeless trying to feel the shot. Does that make sense? I think this is the gold dust part. I think this is like the bit that will really make the difference. If you get your technique, but you start to really get the practice swing. And the ability in golf as well to predict what will happen to the ball before it happens, I think is really important. How many times, actually I'll use this club, how many times do you ever hear a golfer do this as well? So they'll look at maybe that pin on the right there, they'll set up, play quite a nice shot like that, and the ball stops quick and it spins up, primarily because there's a slope there, and then the golfer will say, "Cool, that stopped quickly." And I say to myself, hang on a minute, that was always going to stop quickly with that club. Now, that might seem really obvious basic stuff, but I think most golfers do not anticipate what might happen before it happens. So you've got to be a step ahead. So when I'm playing shots, I'm thinking, if I land it there with that spin and that flight, what will it do? If I land it there, what will it do? If I land it there, I'm trying to imagine the shot. So for this shot here, we don't want spin. So it's not a 56 that I just used. It might be something like a 9-iron. 9-iron is around about a third carry, so we can land it just short of the sand. It's going to have less spin because it's going to get up the slope and not too much speed the other side. So I've anticipated that I don't want that to happen, so I'm making sure I use the right club. Okay. Does that make sense? Does some of you feel not as focused as that? Do you feel like you actually make errors because you've not considered it first? Yeah. So then we go in there, we look at the spot, we play the shot, and you can see how that's got far less spin on it got to work on my feel. But you can see it's got far less spin on it, so it's worked up the slope a lot easier because I use the right club, right? So that is really important. So just from today, I want you to focus just on your technique. You've got to get a little bit wider than that, okay, in terms of how you're thinking. Okay, so before we get in the sand then, why don't you just have a few shots working on your focus levels, working on really intentional practice swings. Why don't we make it semi-competitive if you want to pair up and see who gets it closest and have a bit of fun, and then we'll get into the sand, okay?